Right. I could see the data now of what happened in previous thing. Right. Has anybody has any questions?
Yeah, I have. So what are you trying to look up against? You're trying to look up against what? Like you're using region name. All this is for region name column, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to fetch only the region name column from a region table.
Based on the region ID in the region table.
Right.
Okay.
So as a quick note, lookup function will actually work on one single condition and it returns only one return port, one column. So that's a limitation of a lookup function. Again, it's returning a null value. What did I do? That's what we do here. Alright guys, I'll come back to lookup actually. Let me discuss about the lookup ext on this then. See, lookup ext, as I said, it's an extension to a lookup function. Lookup actually does, it returns one particular column, only just one column, based on only one condition. That's what a lookup does. Basically, in this example, we're supposed to get the region name. Unfortunately, we are not getting it. Let me look into that one, and then we will discuss on the lookup ext. Go back to the lookup functions, select the lookup ext, and say next. This is a wizard for a lookup function, lookup ext function. Now we need to select the lookup table. So browse the lookup table, select the region. The lookup table will be available here now. Alright. Now what's the column in a lookup table that we wanted to compare? So I wanted to compare with a region ID from a lookup table and as well as a region ID. Either you could select and drag and drop here, or you can use this browse button and select the value from here. Either ways you could do that. Either ways. Either you could drag and drop, or you can open up this browse window and then select the value, either ways. And the operand here, we have a plenty of options: equals to, less than or equal to, greater than or equals to, not equals to, tilde, not equals to, okay, is not. All these options we can perform, and we can perform multiple conditions. We can select based on multiple conditions. Okay, and the return column, which which column that I wanted to fetch back in, region name. What's the expression? Okay, what's the default value in here? I just wanted to use null value. Otherwise, if you want to substitute with some other thing, you could do that. Region name with some people, they just wanted to fetch the null value. If you want to fetch something with the default value, you could do that. This is it. And a variable, if you want to perform, if you want to pass a variable instead of passing a default value, you could do that. And you could always select the column based on the order by as well. Okay, and the return policy is this one. I'll explain you this in a different session because this is important. The return policy is maximum or minimum, all these options. I'll inform you. And we have another option called customized SQL. This will override the entire function that we can discuss in further classes. So this is what, it's just applying a lookup function. Oh, I forgot to tell you actually. Select the name. Here we need to select the cache, whichever we wanted to do that. Let me select the no cache option and see this one. I said no cache, okay. And then the region name I wanted to fetch back in. If we didn't find any match, then it should give the null value. Comparison is region dot region ID equals to customer dot region ID, and just leave the remaining stuff as is. Validate all. Rename this query to lookup customer region. Save. Debug. Okay. It's done. Okay. See the data in here. Now the region name has come. Okay. Appropriate region name for the particular customer has come now. So if we wanted to fetch, this is a function way of implementing a lookup ext. Let me introduce another way to fetch the other two columns. Okay, give a right click on your output schema, any one of the column, and say new function call. Insert below. Click on the lookup function. Here you could find only certain function categories here, and each and every function category there are minimal functions where you could find out. So in lookup category we could find only lookup ext as a function wizard. Again, you could see the same function wizard here. Same way, just browse it. Okay, but there is a beauty in here. I'll show you that one. Comparison is lookup region ID. Drag on it here. Fetch the region type and then the region parent. Okay. Say finish. Now you just see this. A lookup ext is now fetching region type and a region parent. We have a flexibility. See, the same lookup ext has been applied here and here, right? Here, can anybody understand this language? No, we cannot understand this language unless you are pretty senior in implementing things in data service. And even senior cannot, modify this particular function in just one go. But here, give a right click and say modify. And if you want to fetch more than one function, do this. If you want to fetch more than one column, you could do that. If you want to apply more than one condition, you could do that in here. Okay, this is function wizard and very easy wizard. Easy to learn, easy to perform, easy to modify. You can do anything pretty easily. Okay.
I got a question with you. Okay, on this.
Yeah.
The earlier one we fetched a region name, right?
Right.
And then once we fetched the region name, I just kind of lost that. Probably you might have mentioned it, but where is that we put that thing in the table called, I guess, once the IDs are similar, we fetch that region name and put it into our temporary table that we created. Is there
right?
Can we go back to that screen? I mean, where we. I think you
sure.
Okay, you fetch the region name there. Is it from the region or region table, or is it from the customer region that's a temporary there? Yeah, cost region 3 table.
Right. Region name is actually coming from a region table.
Okay.
Here we applied the lookup ext function. What it does is it goes to that particular source table. Okay, lookup table in this case. We are pointing the lookup table data store. That means this particular function goes and looks the table in here, and then which column that we wanted to fetch in. So I have created a column before to that. Okay. Initially, I just created an output column and then applied function within that column. So I wanted to fetch a region name in here. What I did was here using that lookup ext function, I use the region name to return, and the condition is region ID. Which region ID? Lookup region ID equals to your customer region ID. Based on this condition, I fetch the region name column. Okay. I just use the lookup ext function using a wizard so that you could modify if you want to fetch. This is not a wizard. This is the function that you applied for a column.
Okay, but how do you put that? Once we fetch that thing, how do you insert this the name that we fetch into the region name? How does it automatically, or is there because what I'm seeing here is we pointed out the source, right? In no cache, the bag, whatever is it. The region name is the region name is this the region name from the source, right, that we're looking for, right?
This is the region name from the region that is coming in.
Yeah, right. Then if the default is null, right? Default is null, and then if the IDs are correct, then we fetch that thing into, where do we put that stuff over here? Then set, I don't know. Okay. Then
that's it. You don't have to do anything. It's automatically
done. Okay, got you. Right.
Yes, because you applied the function for this column.
I got you right. Okay.
Yes. So for you're welcome. Right. So just to say that instead of writing or instead of applying a lookup ext function for a column, it's better to have a lookup function using a wizard. So I'm just taking off this region name in here. Okay, I'm just completely deleting this, and I'm applying, I'm just modifying this, and I'm returning a region name as well. Say finish. I'll get the region name. Okay, you don't have to do anything for your target table because this is just a column that we are fetching in. All the columns will get fetched. Now run the load again. See the result and set.
On this one, okay, on this one, are
Uh-huh.
we just pointing the column name to the region region table, or is it just does it create on the temporary table as well?
Sorry, I didn't get your point.
Okay, on this one, are we just pointing the column name to the region IDs, or does it create in temporary table as well? The column name.
It creates in temporary table as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Go back to your data flow. See the data. See, we fetch different columns: region type, region parent, and then region name. So all the columns will get fetched and they loaded the data. All right. This is lookup ext. So just to discuss about the cache part now, and then I'll take a break after this. It's 8:30 p.m. or here. It's 9 p.m. or here. I'll take a break or here. I'll just let me close up this with cache specifications. I'll have my dinner and come back. It's an half an hour break for us today. I'll come back after that. Okay. Let us discuss these cache specifications. Okay. We have three caches in here. One is no cache, preload, and another one is demand load cache. No cache is nothing but that you don't have to fetch every time. What it does is it goes to that particular database and it runs this query every time. That's what no cache does. If the table is bigger and you can't able to fit the table in the memory, what it does, it suggests to use no cache option, because it goes to the database. This particular query goes to the database for every record and it looks for a match and it gets the data. If you have 1,000 records, you will be having 1,000 hits to the database.
Can you please specify which table and which memory and which?
Absolutely, sure. See, lookup table is a reference table for us now. Okay, if we wanted to put that in a cache or we don't want to put that in a cache, it's our design now. So when I say cache specification, okay, this lookup table will comes into a cache. If I select preload cache, that means whatever the table that comes entirely into a memory, into a DS memory, data services memory, with all the 4 columns, entire data will comes into a data services memory. If I say no cache, this particular lookup table, region table from ODS region doesn't come into the memory. Every time if you wanted to fetch a region name based on the input schema customer region ID, it hits the database, it opens the door of the database of region and opens the table, look for the matching data and gets the data. That's what it does.
Okay.
For every record, it opens the door. Okay, it knocks the door, it opens the database door, looks for a matching record, gets the record. If you have 12 records or 12 matching records, it goes to the database 12 times when we specify no cache.
Okay. So if at all it's a preload cache, then it means that it's getting the table well in advance and it's trying to look up with those things. And
absolutely.
So if it's a very big table, then some other table, then we use some other cache option and we bring that table and put it in. Also, okay, where is this cache memory located right now? Okay.
Okay, where is this cache memory located? That's a very good question. Cache memory will have it actually, I'll explain you very clearly. Let me close this off. Okay. Let me generalize this particular cache part. First of all, let me give the definition. Now you guys could understand how a no cache would perform, right? Now let us say preload cache. Let us discuss about a preload cache. Preload cache means it fetches the entire table and it puts into his own memory and then it performs. So if it wants to find a region ID, okay, I have a customer region ID which is coming in. Now let me look at this customer region ID into my memory. Okay, if that customer region ID is there, okay, then push this off, push this off, push this off. So since both the comparison, both tables comparison happening at the DI services, data services world, so there will be significant performance here. So when to use this preload cache? Whenever the table is very small or relatively it can fit into your memory, then you could go for a preload cache. Whenever you use this particular function, it automatically takes preload cache as a default value. We have to choose based on the table size.
Okay.
We need
so preload cache is something which we take, but as I see, demand load cache is, I think it's dynamic. Whereas the table size of the table increases, that automatically puts more and more memory, right? So when we select the option,
not that one. It works in a different behavior. It behaves a bit differently. So no caching, it's absolutely zero cache. Every time it goes to the database. Preload cache, it doesn't go to the database. It goes to the database once and it fetches all the records. It puts in memory. Demand
what
load
if they are
cache.
suppose wrong in estimating the preload cache?
A good question. Let me close this. I'll come back to that.
Okay.
Okay. Demand load cache. How does a demand load cache work? So demand load cache means, you're expecting few values. Let's say a customer ID is repeating. The same region ID is repeating. Let's say North America is repeating. We have hundreds of customers. So first 50 customers are coming from a North America region. And next are actually segregated in a different regions of America or different regions of the world. Few are from India, few are from Asia, few are from Europe, few are from Middle East, and different regions. If the customer ID is repeating the same value, that particular value will go to the cache. When you select the demand load cache, that particular value, the value whichever is repeating once or twice or more than that, that value automatically goes to the data services cache. Okay, North America is repeating twice. Okay, and third time what it does is, okay, let me put this value in my cache. So whenever there is a further comparison for the same value, pull the record from my memory.
Okay, it could be even in the future.
Right.
Okay.
So it will have both the doors open. One is memory of the data services, and if it doesn't find a match in the memory, it goes to the database and fetches the record.
Okay. So you said that memory of the data services. So data services has a memory which is located on, it use some of the space on the hard disk to have its memory, right?
Right. It has its own memory.
Okay.
It has its own memory with a limit of 2 GB.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do not know this one. Data services has its own memory of 2. It occupies 2 GB of the hard disk space, right?
No, not 2 GB of hard disk. There is actually two different processes here. Whenever it exceeds the memory, whenever I say that if the table, if you're wrongly estimated the table, or sometimes the table grows inevitably. Even the lookup table grows inevitably. We don't know exactly because this is data warehouse, right? Sometimes you load thousands of records. Initially, you calculate it for some extent, and it worked for 1 year, 2 years. After that, the table has grown exponentially.
Okay.
The table doesn't fit into that memory because the memory size is 2 GB, and the table has grown up to more than 2 GB. How does data services performs in that case? I'll show you a very quick thing on this, okay? But before that, let me generalize these caches options, okay? So that you could, that will register in your mind. How does these caches work? I hope now the caches are clear, but I just wanted to generalize in a normal way. Okay. No cache is something like, you go to the market, you get the vegetables every time. Okay, if you want to cook one particular curry, okay, Guys, can you hear me? I think I lost something here.
No, we can.
I can hear you.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. But maybe I should ask this question to others. How do we decide? I mean, normally reference tables should be small, right? Like, I think in this example, reference tables are like code tables or a postal address table, things like that, and they should be more or less uh, small compared to the customer or member data, right?
What was the question, Murthy?
Yeah, I'm just throwing this thought out. Like, yeah, the question here is like, the option of choosing the cache. I think he was saying that it depends on the size of the table that you're trying to look up, right? And obviously the lookup tables, more or less, let's say if you're building a data mart, they should be small enough. Unless I don't think lookup tables run into millions. They are more or less not more than 1,000 or the order of thousands. That's my understanding. So I'm not getting the concept of why even try to choose these options, because lookup tables are by themselves limited in size and number of rows in the table.
That's right. I'm not so sure about how to answer that. Probably the Suman, right? It's Sudeep Suman. He might be able to answer the question. So I don't know if he heard us now. He's kind of lost. It's like
Sudhir?
yes.
Hello?
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, Sudhir, can you hear us?
Good morning. Sudhir? Hello?
I think Sudhir is lost.
Hello?
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 Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Yeah.
I could hear you guys.
I could understand the concept of cache, but I have one question. Where is this 2 GB of memory is located?
Yeah. Let me complete this pause. Let me complete and I'll come back to all your questions. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll come back to your questions one by one.
Okay.
Right. Let me generalize first of all these things. Hope you very much cleared, but I just wanted to have the discussion. Something like, whenever we wanted to fetch the no cache, it's when I really want to generalize. If you want to cook a curry, right? Or if you want to cook something, what you do every time you go to the database or every time you go to the market, get the whatever required vegetables, cook the curry, close it off. Next time you want to do that, again you go to the market, cook the curry, close off. Next time you want, go to market, get the vegetables, cook the curry. That's how the no cache performs. Every time, for every record, it goes to the database, finds the match, gets the record. That's what no cache does. Preload cache is something like you go to the market or weekend, get the vegetables, okay, store it somewhere. Okay, it could be your refrigerator, it could be somewhere where you could store. Then, based on the requirement,